instructors have any thoughts about the music? Because we've talked a lot about the technical aspects, but ideas, thoughts?
I was thinking that, arrangement-wise, that part that like repeats for a long time, where you're like harmonizing and then playing in unison, like that'd be a good spot for a fade out. You know what I mean? You could hear it just like trailing off there in that part, because it's like going on for a long time. And it seems like
It's a really long
because you've already heard all the buttery parts of the tune
That's true.
Right.
like
Yeah.
a bunch of times or a few
Yeah.
times. Like I mean, it always, to me, like cutting it down is always a bonus, because then like people will be like, oh, I want more, you know, like they didn't like
That's
get
true.
way too stuffed on ice cream, like they like.
No, that's a fair point, definitely.
That's true.
We honestly couldn't figure out how to end the tune, and we were like, we have another arrangement that fades out, so do we really want to fade this one out? But anyway, yeah, that's a good idea.
I like how it ended though.
Yeah.
I would have liked to hear the last note just a little bit longer, just the note itself.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Also, like if you were really recording this and you had like the luxury of doing it a bunch of times, I think it'd be pretty cool to hear you guys do it a bunch, like maybe like a couple times, where you're really thinking about accuracy and like getting it right and stuff, and then like be like, okay, let's just let loose and just like play it and like maybe like dig in a little more, get kind of grittier on the low part.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is there like a standard for how many times you can do it without it sounding stale?
Good.
I
That's a
think
really
each
good
person
question.
would have their answer.
I think if you don't get it the first time, you might as well quit.
Some musicians will in fact do literally 70 takes.
Yeah.
Some, the musicality of it will start to decline after take 1
I think,
or take 4.
yeah, I was thinking around 3.
Yeah.
That's common.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can take a break and like go to
Take
dinner
three.
and
Yeah.
then like come back.
Get
It might be
tired
more
of it.
awesome.
It seems like even just running around the block or just doing something
Yeah.
else that really removes your mind and your body from that studio space.
Running around the chapel looking at the
When we
eclipse.
were recording the Beat Eaters album with Dave Cinco, yeah, I mean Dave wasn't technically our producer, but he actually would send us around the church.
I showed up in the middle of the night
And
and I
it
was
worked.
thinking, where am I supposed to be to come and hear these guys? And I saw these dark figures running around the chapel.
So just figuring out what works for you to get you in the most comfortable place where you're not thinking too much.
Yeah.
The trick is to get all the technicalities in place before you
Yeah.
lose the important stuff of actually just feeling like playing. And if you played it 10 times and you're like, ah, then it's alright.
It's really individualistic.
Yeah.
There's an apocryphal story about Frank Sinatra when he was recording this song called That's Life. It was a big hit for him. And he didn't want to record it, and they did like the whole morning of takes, because he just, so when he was leaving, the producer yelled after him, I guess I'll have to get somebody that knows the business, that can produce a song, that can do what I want, listen to me, get it out there. He went down the elevator, came back up the elevator, mad as could be, walked in, killed it.
Being a recording engineer or a producer can be also being a psychologist.
Yeah.
Usually not like that, are you?
Any of your thoughts about the music? I mean, do you guys want to
I just want to throw one thing out. I'd love to hear a little bit more of which one is the melody and which one. So a little bit more interplay of like being under the person that's really doing the melody, and then when the other one takes over, to actually, I could have heard more of it, you know, because a lot of it was almost at the same level,
Yeah.
like a lot of the way through. But I think if you really feel like this is the melody here, and this is my moment to shine, I think you could really pump it up from that
Well,
point, you know, and then when the other one takes over, then you pump it up, and the other one tuck in, and really hear the tuck in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You can do a little with the fader.
Yeah. You could cheat that a little bit.
You can, but it's real dynamic.
But you might also be talking about like the vibe of it, right? Not just the volume level. Like
Separation, if you want to really supportive.
These are pretty close together.
They're pretty close together, but if you turn one of those mics way up, you would definitely notice, oh, that feels up. So you have quite a bit. You can hear the fiddle bleeding through, of course, on both mics, but in this situation, you can turn one person up and one person down.
Kai, could we hear each mic separately just a little bit?
Sure.
Just an example of what you just said.
Totally. Here is fiddle
have some leeway, but it's always best to try to not
Yeah.
fix it in the mix, but actually capture it.
Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy, is just the least work you can do with the machine, the better the music is gonna sound.
Yeah.
Because it's, the real is always the best.
Do you guys feel like you wanna play it again?
How do you use up all this?
Yeah, I don't wanna use up the time of we're gonna play.
It's not that long, you guys could play it again if you have like a concept of, you know, like something that you'd like to do.
It'd be cool to try to not be so, like, arrangement,
Yeah,
like, just
feel
like,
it.
play.
Yeah,
And-
we can
but do
hear
the
how
arrangements,
it's
but like,
different.
but like try to not be so wrapped up in it, at least on my case.
And then let's be
But
ready
I
at the
wonder
end of
what
that.
might sound like, in terms of the backup, if a fiddle just played a more legato line backup rather than, it's got such a chugging sort of, it's like a music box or something, you know, it just keeps going. And if there was something under it that was like playing long lines, it might, it would change it, and possibly it would be good, I don't know, but I would like to hear what would happen.
Okay.
Whoever's playing backup just play chill for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Accentuate the melody more, maybe.
This is only because she's sleepy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you just want a coffee, should be doing what you're doing.
Well,
Can I ask you what the species called?
oh, it's called Last August. I wrote it last summer.
You did?
Last August.
Woo,
Yeah.
for you. I'm more impressed even.
Okay.
Just another little tip for the engineering minds in the room. You don't ever want to throw anything away that you don't have to. So I'm not going to record over your first take. I'm going to instead record another take. And there's a couple ways of doing that in Pro Tools, but it's kind of technical. I'm just going to start the cursor after your last one. So, yeah. And we are recording. Nice, you guys.
That was really a better performance altogether.
Yeah, have more energy.
Yeah, it did.
You focused on yes, and you took on the suggestions that were made. Great. Printed.
Thanks.
I know.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of an adrenaline factor in the first take? I mean, I know a lot of artists, you waited a long time to get in the studio and
Yeah. Sometimes you think about detrimental adrenaline factor, like.
Anybody else like take one better?
Too excited. A little too excited.
The first take
I-
of the two.
I
I thought it was like, it was cleaner.
Yeah.
The first take was cleaner,
I
which, it's kind of like, that's a classic dilemma. If like,
Right.
you got the one that's like, oh, I like the feeling in it better, but you're gonna like, you don't wanna live with like always hearing yourself go like, in this one part or something, you know what I'm saying? If you have like a real geeky moment.
Well, maybe they want to edit those two takes.
Right, you
I
might
guess
edit
that's
those
true.
two takes together.
Especially if it's exactly the same tempo.
So for the next one, we're gonna have cello and then vocal and guitar, but have the cello and microphone
Okay.
because of the two channels.
So that actually might be great.
Yeah, they can,
Blending wise.
and it's a lot easier to avoid stage problems.
Josh can plug right in.
We're recording like